My chest tightened. I hadn't heard his voice in years, not since the accident. Hearing it now, in this cursed place, was like being gutted. I clutched my head, shaking it violently, trying to dislodge the sound. But it stayed. Worse, it grew louder. Jamie covered her ears and screamed. "It's lying. Don't listen." But even her voice fractured, splitting into 2, 3, 10 versions of herself, overlapping, each one whispering something different. This way. That way. Stop. Run. The forest wasn't silent anymore. It was alive with voices, all of them familiar. Friends, family, strangers we'd passed on the street, even my own voice echoing back at me. I heard myself whispering from the shadows, "You're going the wrong way. Follow me." I almost obeyed. My legs twitched, ready to move toward the sound. It was instinct, trust your own voice. But Alex yanked me back, snarling. "That's not you." I looked at him and realized his jaw was clenched so hard it trembled, his eyes wild. He was hearing it too. Whatever the voices were, they tailored themselves, twisting into whatever would hurt us most, whatever would make us break. Jamie collapsed again, rocking on her knees, mumbling to herself. I knelt beside her, gripping her shoulders. "What are they saying?" I asked. She lifted her head slowly, tears streaking her face. Her lips trembled. "They're telling me to give up." The voices swelled then, overlapping into a deafening chorus. "Lie down. Rest. Stop. You can't win. You can't leave. Give up." I shook her harder, desperate to pull her back. "Don't listen. They're lying. Do you hear me? They're lying." But even as I screamed, the voices adapted again. They turned into my own screams, my own protests, echoing back at me in perfect sync until I couldn't tell which words were mine and which belonged to the forest. Alex shouted something, but his words were swallowed, drowned in the noise. The voices overlapped, layered, suffocating us beneath their weight. I clamped my hands over my ears, but it didn't help. The voices weren't entering through sound anymore. They were inside my head, my bones, my blood. And then, through the chaos, one voice cut clear. Not Jamie, not Alex, not my father. It was mine. "You don't belong here, but you'll never leave." Because I already chose to stay. The world tilted, my vision warped, trees bending in impossible angles. My knees buckled. Had I said that? Or had the forest said it for me? Jamie sobbed harder. Alex was shouting, shaking me, his voice muffled beneath the lies. But one thing sank through the chaos, one awful truth. The voices weren't just lying. They were learning. We staggered forward, battered by the storm of voices, until they finally faded into silence again. I almost wished they hadn't, because the silence was worse. It was heavy, absolute, the kind that pressed against your skull until your thoughts felt too loud. The flashlight beams jittered as our hands trembled, sweeping across the ground. That's when I saw it. A path. A narrow strip of dirt, pale in the darkness, stretching straight ahead between the trees. Relief exploded in my chest. "Look!" I shouted, my voice breaking. "A way out." Jamie sobbed with sudden hope, clutching at Alex's sleeve. Even he looked shaken, but his eyes lit with a desperate kind of faith. "We follow it. We have to." It felt wrong. Too easy. After everything, the shadows, the vanishing signs, the lies, why would the forest suddenly gift us a path? But exhaustion won. My legs were lead, my throat raw, and part of me didn't care if it was a trick. At least it was something. At least it was forward. We followed. The path was smooth, unnaturally so, like something had swept it clean. No roots tangled our feet. No stones cut the soles of our shoes. Just a pale strip of dirt, leading deeper and deeper into the forest. But the deeper we walked, the stranger it became. The trees leaned closer, bending inward like ribs, forming a cage. Their branches arched above us, knitting together so tightly that even the moonlight couldn't pierce through. The air grew damp and suffocating, clinging to our skin like sweat. And then I noticed something chilling. The ground wasn't dirt anymore. It was wood. The pale strip beneath our feet was made of planks, weathered and splintering, stretching endlessly ahead like an old boardwalk. When I stomped lightly, it echoed. "Hollow," Jamie whimpered. This isn't a road." Alex swallowed hard, his light sweeping over the planks. "Then what the hell is it?" I crouched, running trembling fingers across the wood. It was soft, spongy in places, warped by moisture. But worse than that, there were carvings. Names. Dozens of them, scratched into the planks, overlapping until the wood was scarred beyond recognition. Some I couldn't read. Some are fresh. Some had been gouged so deep they split the boards. And among them, my stomach dropped when I saw one name I knew. Mine. Jamie screamed when she found hers carved a few steps ahead. Alex went silent, his face draining of color as his light revealed his own etched into the boards. We didn't speak. We didn't have to. The forest hadn't just trapped us, it had written us into its story. The path stretched on, endless, but something about it changed. The boards beneath our feet creaked louder, groaning with every step. Gaps opened between them, narrow slits of darkness that seemed far too deep for a simple wooden path. Jamie's shoe slipped into one, and she yanked her foot back with a cry. I shone my light into the gap. It wasn't empty. Something moved down there. A writhing mass of shapes, pale and glistening, crawling over one another in silence. Arms, legs, faces pressed against the underside of the boards, mouths opening and closing in noiseless screams. I staggered back while burning my throat. We can't stay here. The path groaned louder. The boards began to shift, tilting downward, sloping ever so slightly as if guiding us somewhere. Jamie clutched my arm, shaking violently. "It's leading us." Alex interrupted, his voice a hoarse whisper. "No, it's feeding us to it." We turned, ready to run back the way we'd come. But the path behind us was gone. No planks, no dirt, just trees. Thick, endless trees. We were sealed in. The path had become the only way forward. And as it sloped deeper into the dark, I realized the truth. It wasn't a path. It was a throat, and we were walking straight into its stomach. Every step forward was a betrayal of instinct. My body screamed to stop, to turn back, to fight against the boards that groaned beneath our weight. But there was no turning back. The path had erased itself behind us, leaving only one choice: forward. The slope grew steeper. My legs burned as we descended, the boards slick with moisture that clung to our shoes. The air thickened, damp and sour, carrying a stench like rotting wood mixed with something worse. Meat? Maybe. Jamie whimpered behind me. "It's getting darker." She was right. My flashlight, already weak, seemed to shrink, the beams swallowed by the air itself. 10 feet, then 5, then only enough to light the next board. Beyond that was blackness, so dense it looked solid. Alex swore under his breath. "This isn't natural. Light doesn't just die like that." But it did. Here it did. I kept my eyes on the boards, on the names carved into them. They were thicker now, layered, every inch covered. Some letters bled into others until they were unreadable, but the fresher ones stood out. Dozens of them. Hundreds. Names I didn't recognize, etched in jagged strokes, as if carved in panic. And then I saw another. Jamie's name. Again. Not just once. Over and over, scattered across the boards like the forest was rewriting her into every step. She noticed too. She froze, her knees buckling. "Why me?" she sobbed. "Why does it keep?" Her words cut off as her flashlight slipped from her hands, clattering onto the planks. It rolled forward a few feet before spinning to a stop, its beam pointing through a gap in the boards. I wish I hadn't looked. Below us, the writhing shapes were closer now, pressed tight against the underside of the wood. Their faces were clearer, eyes rolled white in their sockets, mouths stretched wide in endless, silent screams. Hands clawed upward, nails scraping the boards but never breaking through. And some of them looked familiar. I stumbled back, shaking my head violently. No, that's not possible. But it was. I saw faces I recognized. People I'd known in passing. A classmate, a neighbor, a man I'd seen once at a gas station. Their eyes begged, pleading through the cracks. Jamie screamed, dragging her gaze away. Alex refused to look at all. He shoved me forward, his voice hoarse. "Don't stop. Just keep moving." So we did. The slope steepened again until it felt like we were walking into a tunnel, the boards slick beneath our shoes. The darkness around us thickened into a weight pressing on our skin, seeping into our pores, slowing every movement. My breath came in ragged gasps, my chest tight, and then the voices returned. Not whispers this time, not lies. Chants, low and guttural, vibrating through the wood beneath our feet. They weren't words I recognized, but the rhythm made my blood run cold. It was a ritual, a prayer. Jamie clamped her hands over her ears, tears streaking her face. I can't listen again." The boards trembled. The chanting grew louder, shaking my bones. Shapes shifted below us, pressing harder, their mouths opening wider, stretching into impossible voids. The planks creaked, splitting in places. Gaps widened. I caught glimpses of the abyss below, endless black, writhing with bodies, a pit of the lost. My flashlight flickered. Alex cursed, slapping his. Jamie's had already gone dark. Panic surged in me. If the light went out, we'd be swallowed whole. I gripped mine tighter, praying to gods I didn't believe in. And then I saw it. Ahead, through the suffocating dark, a glow. Faint, sickly, like fireflies caught in a jar. Hope sparked in Jamie's broken voice. "Light, do you see it?" I nodded, though dread knotted in my gut. Because this light wasn't warm. It wasn't saving. It pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat, timed with the chanting below. The forest wasn't guiding us out. It was guiding us in. And as we stumbled forward, closer to the glow, I realized something terrible. The deeper we went, the darker it became. Not just around us, inside us. Because with every step, I felt something in me slipping. My name burning itself into the boards. My face pressing against the underside. The path wasn't just leading us to darkness. It was making us part of it. The glow ahead grew stronger as we moved, but not enough to comfort. It pulsed like a dying heartbeat, swelling and fading, until the rhythm crawled under my skin. Every step brought us closer, yet the light never seemed nearer. The boards beneath our feet moaned with each footfall. They were thinner now, brittle, sagging under our weight. Through widening cracks, I glimpsed the pit again, faces pressed against the dark, mouths open in eternal cries, fingers twitching just shy of breaking through. I kept my eyes forward because looking too long made me feel like I belonged down there with them. Jamie stumbled, clutching her chest. "We've been walking forever." Alex wiped sweat from his brow, his voice breaking. Don't think about it. Just keep going." But I've been thinking about it. The slope had stopped steepening, The board stopped changing. It felt like we'd been trapped in the same stretch for hours, the same rhythm of creaks, the same glow just out of reach. That's when I saw the first sign. It was nailed into one of the planks right at our feet. Old, rusted metal, the letters etched deep. Stay on the path. I froze. The others nearly crashed into me. Alex's eyes darted down, then narrowed. Ignore it. But I couldn't. The words pulsed faintly, as if alive. A few steps further, another appeared. This one carved into the board itself, rough and jagged. No exit. Jamie whimpered, gripping my arm. Why are they telling us that? Why show us now? I didn't answer, because I had no answer. The signs multiplied as we walked. Every board, every few feet, new words scratched, etched, burned into the wood. Keep walking. Don't stop. Already dead. No way back. Over and over, different phrases, but always the same message. There was no end, only the path. The glow pulsed stronger, but still impossibly far. My legs burned. My throat ached with thirst. My mind blurred, words swimming in and out of focus. Jamie sobbed again, pointing at the planks. Look, it's our names again. She was right. Our names were etched into the signs now, not just the boards. Jamie, keep walking. Alex, no exit. You, no way back. I couldn't breathe. The boards creaked beneath us, the pit below shifting, restless. Faces stretched wider, mouths opening in hungry silence. Alex snapped. He kicked one of the signs, the rusted metal clattering off into the pit. He shouted into the void, voice hoarse. We're not yours. Do you hear me? We're not. The boards groaned violently beneath him, cracking loud enough to echo. His flashlight beam shot downward, illuminating dozens of hands reaching up through the gaps. One hand caught his ankle. Alex screamed, staggering back, kicking wildly. The grip was impossibly strong, nails digging into his skin, dragging him toward the crack. I lunged forward, grabbing his arms, hauling him back with every ounce of strength left in me. Jamie clung to his shoulders, sobbing, pulling too. The hand let go. He collapsed against us, panting, his leg bleeding where the skin had torn. His face was pale, hollow. He didn't speak again. We didn't stop moving after that. Couldn't. The path punished hesitation. Every second we slowed, the boards sagged deeper, the hands below reaching higher. The signs became unbearable. Hundreds of them, flashing in the glow, words etched so deep they bled into each other, forming a tapestry of despair. No end, no end, no end. The chant from below rose again, matching the words. The glow ahead pulsed harder, brighter, until it hurt to look at. Jamie stumbled to her knees. I grabbed her, forcing her up, but her face was wet with tears, her voice cracked. There's no end, don't you see? It doesn't matter how far we go. We'll never leave. We'll never. I shook her violently, desperate. Don't say that. Don't let it win. But even as I screamed, I felt it too. The hopelessness seeping in, settling deep in my bones. The truth etched into every board, every sign, every whisper. The path wasn't endless. We were. We would walk forever, until our names carved themselves into every plank, until our faces pressed against the pit below, until the forest claimed us like all the others. The glow wasn't salvation. It was hunger, and we were already feeding it. At first, I thought the creaking boards were just our footsteps. But then I heard the second rhythm. Heavier, faster, too many at once. Something was behind us. I froze, my chest tightening. Jamie crashed into me, nearly falling, but I didn't look at her. I couldn't. My eyes were locked on the darkness, stretching behind us. The boards groaned there, bending as if dozens of feet were slamming down at once. But no light revealed them. My flashlight's beam, weak and stuttering, only reached a few feet back. Beyond that was a wall of black. And in that black, something moved. Not one thing. Many. The sound was like a stampede, but not of hooves, of hands clawing, slapping, dragging across wood. Nails tearing grooves in the planks as they came closer, faster, closing the distance between us. Jamie screamed, "Run!" We ran. The path trembled beneath us, boards cracking, splinters flying as we pounded forward. My lungs burned, legs on fire, but I didn't dare slow. Every second, the sound grew louder, the chasing mass scraping, clawing, dragging itself after us. Alex stumbled, nearly falling. I grabbed his arm, hauling him up, but when I glanced at his face, I wished I hadn't. His eyes weren't on the path ahead. They were fixed behind us, wide with horror. His lips moved soundlessly, as though he recognized what was coming. "Don't look," I shouted, pulling him forward. But the truth was, I wanted to look too. Some primal, stupid instinct screamed at me to see what hunted us. And I did. Just for a second, my flashlight beam flicked back, skimming across the boards. I saw shapes crawling over each other. Not shadows, bodies. Pale, warped bodies, their limbs stretched too long, bending in ways that snapped at the joints. Dozens, maybe hundreds, surging forward in a wave of flesh. Their faces were worse. Mouths split wide, teeth jagged, tongues lolling. Eyes rolled white or missing entirely. Some had no faces at all, just smooth skin stretched taut where features should have been. And yet, they screamed, though no sound came out. Silent. A silent horde chasing us through the dark. I jerked forward, nearly dropping the flashlight. The beam shook violently, but I didn't dare stop again. The path tilted downward, steepening into a slope. My legs screamed with each pounding step, but the creatures didn't falter. If anything, they moved faster, their hands digging into the planks, dragging themselves forward with sickening force. Jamie tripped, falling hard on her knees. I yanked her up, adrenaline surging. Blood streamed down her leg, but she kept running, sobbing through clenched teeth. The horde was close now. Too close. I could feel the boards vibrating under their weight, the air behind us trembling with their mass. Alex shouted, voice cracking, "They're hurting us. Don't you see? They're driving us forward." I didn't want to believe him, but the truth was there. The glow ahead pulsed brighter now, throbbing like a lure. The creatures weren't just chasing us. They were pushing us toward it. The path narrowed, suddenly, forcing us into a single line. Boards snapped at the edges, falling into the abyss below. My stomach lurched at every crack, terrified the whole thing would collapse. The creatures didn't slow. They poured onto the narrowing path, limbs twisting, bodies piling, crawling over each other in their rush. One hand shot through a crack, clawing at my ankle. I kicked free, boots slamming down hard, bones snapping beneath my heel. The hand dissolved into the mass, replaced instantly by another. We ran faster than I thought possible, driven not by hope, but by terror. My vision blurred, sweat stinging my eyes. Jamie screamed again. Alex gasped curses. My own breath tore ragged from my chest. And still, the horde followed. Closer, closer, until their fingers brushed my back. Cold, vet, like raw meat. I screamed and surged forward, pulling Jamie and Alex with me. Every step a desperate lunge. The glow ahead expanded, brighter now, opening like a mouth waiting to swallow us whole. And behind us, the chasing horde screamed for the first time. A shriek so loud it shattered the silence, tearing through my skull until I thought my head would split. It wasn't just a sound. It was victory, because we weren't escaping them. We were running exactly where they wanted us to go. The glow ahead had grown into a blinding sphere, pulsing like the heart of some colossal beast. Each beat made the boards under our feet tremble, as though the path itself was alive, urging us forward. My legs were gone, numb from the endless sprint, but I couldn't stop. Not with the horde right behind us. Their shrieks still echoed, rattling my bones, carrying that single, crushing message. You're already theirs. Jamie sobbed with every step, dragging her wounded leg. Alex's face was pale, his eyes hollow, but he ran too, caught between terror and inevitability. And me? I clung to one thought. If we reached the glow, maybe, just maybe, we could get out. The boards funneled us toward it, narrower and narrower, until there was nowhere else to go. No choices left. Just one road, one destination. The signs changed again, carved deeper, brighter. Exit, exit, exit. Every plank screamed it, every glowing word burning into my vision. Exit, exit, exit. My chest swelled with a fragile hope. Maybe it was real. Maybe this nightmare ended here. We reached the edge. The path stopped. The glow wasn't a doorway. It wasn't even light. It was a pit. A massive, yawning void, swirling with brilliance that blinded and seared. Not a portal to escape. An open maw, waiting to devour. We skidded to a halt, boards splintering underfoot. Jamie nearly tumbled over the edge. I grabbed her arm just in time. We stood there, trembling, staring into the false salvation. Behind us, the horde screamed again, closer than ever. Alex shook his head violently, muttering, "No, no, no, no. This isn't an exit. This isn't." But the signs insisted, glowing brighter, vibrating with each pulse. Exit, exit, exit. The horde poured onto the final stretch of boards, a wave of limbs and mouths and hollow faces. There was no room left to run, no ground left to stand. Jamie clutched my sleeve, nails digging in. We can't go back. I wanted to tell her we'd find another way, that there had to be something else. But the truth pressed against my ribs like knives. There was nothing else. The path only ever led one way. Alex screamed suddenly, a raw, broken sound, and threw himself forward into the glow. His body vanished instantly, swallowed whole. No splash, no impact, just gone. Jamie shrieked his name, her voice cracking, but the horde was almost on us now, hands clawing at the last planks. I didn't think. I couldn't. I grabbed her, and together we jumped. The glow consumed us, burning, tearing, stretching. My body twisted, unraveling into strands of light. Jamie's scream dissolved beside me, shredded into nothing, but it didn't feel like death. It felt like falling into forever. Through endless tunnels of light and shadow, faces screamed from the walls, eyes glaring, mouths twisted in agony. The same faces we'd seen in the pit below, now spinning past in a blur. And then, darkness, silence. When I opened my eyes, I was standing on the path again. Same planks, same boards, same endless stretch ahead. Jamie was beside me, gasping. Alex, too, his eyes wide, his mouth trembling. We were back where we started. Only, the signs were different now, carved into the boards in letters big enough to fill the space beneath our feet. No exit. I felt my stomach cave in, my heart stop cold. We hadn't escaped. We had never escaped. The glow wasn't an ending. It was a loop, a trap that reset itself with every desperate leap. Behind us, the boards groaned. The horde was there again, waiting, chasing. Jamie's whisper was barely audible. "We're never leaving, are we?" I didn't answer, because deep down, I finally understood the truth. There was no exit, There had never been an exit. There was only the path, and it would keep us walking forever.